Alright, so variation of the stretch pot. You can pretty much do these any which way. I just got an idea. It's not too far off of what was already done. I just wanted to show you the new idea. So when I'm going to throw this off the hump, so I always kind of give myself like a little area to separate what I'm working on versus what's going to get cut off. And when you're doing this, obviously you're not going to have like the needle tool to go and check to see how deep it is. You're just relying on your own depth perception. So I'm going to leave it, I want it thick. Actually, I want it a little more than that. Let's go to there. Thick, and leaving it narrow because I want to stretch this thing out. Let's see, so this is, right about in there's our. See how well my depth perception is when I go to cut it off. And then I'm going to give myself a little guideline to go off of just so I don't cut past it. So about there. And I don't care about the bottom as much. So first pass, I'm just going to alternate the passes, and I'm got to keep in mind how to keep it aligned so that you don't run into having. I'm going to use a flat pattern, and I'm going to use this, I guess stretched out spring pattern. So you don't want to end up with two springs next to each other. You want to leave enough room to get something in there. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. And just going to remove some of this clay here, go up to my line, and then I'll go flat side. And spring side. I feel like it is easier to go from the bottom up. Like it just kind of pulls the clay all one way. If you go down, sometimes it's gonna tilt it one way. You always kind of want to cut one way when you're doing this. And now let's go flat. And back to spring. And finish it with the flat. Can you see that? Finish it with the flat. Alright. So we've done similar stuff, but I'm going to do the variation I saw someone else do on social media where they were just kind of doing this. It ended up looking cool. And again, you don't have to use all the same tools. There's a bunch of different stuff we got over there. It's just, play around with it and do it. Come up with your own thing. I'm just doing, we got combs over there, different size ribs, different size wires. So that's what we got so far. And now the fun part where we stretch it. Just working from the inside out. Leave the top kind of narrower than the body is the idea. And this is also, up to the artist, see how far you want to stretch it, or maybe you're just going for a more profound look that's not stretched out so far. Sometimes it's just good to stop and take a break and see what it looks like before you go all the way out. Maybe you like it further in. Sometimes it's just a fun challenge to see how far you can stretch it before it dies. So far, it looks like that now. So a little bit. I think we could stretch it a little further, especially at the bottom. And I want this top to be narrower. So I can get inside there too. This wood tool. And when you're doing these stretch pots, don't worry about it being perfectly centered. I mean, it's gonna. The whole thing of this pot is to have a little abstractness to it. It's not this perfectly centered Kmart pot. Alright, so here's where I'm going to bring the top in a little bit. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's kind of a fun little piece. Here you can kind of see the top of it. And here, so I'll just kind of put that groove that I made earlier. I'm going to kind of get the wire set up in it. And, you know, when you're first learning something like this, it's easier just to cut it off with the wire. But the way all the pros like to do it is to let the wheel do the cutting. And from here, just kind of carefully take it off, and you got your piece. So later I'll kind of fix up the bottom how I like it. So, just a fun little stretch pot.